Okay, welcome to Wild About Mushrooms. We're here in Missoula, Montana with an assembled crew here of people who are interested in mushrooms. And tonight's program we're going to be talking about the economic value of mushrooms in western Montana and how the value of mushrooms and their role in the ecosystem may be affecting our lives in the future. Our panel members tonight are first Ginny McCammett, our MSU Extension horticulturalist. Carrie Wall McLean of Garden City Seeds and the Bitterroot Down Home Project. Angie Coffin, an environmental activist. Alain Desroulet and Karen Coombs. I'd like to start the program here today with a little discussion about the mushrooms that we have here in western Montana. On the other screen, you'll see we have the morel mushroom. In just a minute, we'll be looking at the morel mushroom here. Well, maybe in more than just a
one thing while we're
little
waiting
while.
for the
There we
old
go.
morel is
Yeah?
we should mention this is a call-in show.
Ah, this is a call-in
You got the
show.
morel on, Larry.
Okay, we have the morel on. Okay. This is the common yellow or white morel, which we usually find in the cottonwoods down here. And this is one of the most common and sought-after mushrooms right now in western Montana. We have the next one, Greg.
Larry, how do we tell the common morel apart from the false morel?
We'll find some comparisons later, but we have had quite a few people calling in with reports of false morels earlier this year. Another mushroom that we have very common here, especially up in the Swans, is the Laetoporus sulphureus, or the sulfur polypore mushroom that we see here. This is a delicious mushroom that grows on large trees and is nicknamed the chicken of the woods because the flesh of this mushroom tastes a lot like chicken. Can we have the next one? I think a lot of people are familiar with the giant puffball, when we sure have a lot of different puffballs here in Montana. Most of them don't get quite this big, but as you can see, one of these mushrooms is about all you need for a banquet. That's, next one. Another common edible we have is this is the golden chanterelle, and this mushroom is of tremendous economic importance throughout the Pacific Northwest, not just here in western Montana. When it is available in San Francisco, the wholesale market price is between $7.50 and $9 a pound. This is a very popular mushroom, and well, it's used in a variety of dishes, especially French cooking. Next. But not all mushrooms are edible, of course. This is the Amanita phalloides, a deadly poisonous mushroom. This is known in the Pacific Northwest, but it's not so frequent here in western Montana. We do have some members of the Amanita group. You notice some of the characteristics here. You can see the warts on the cap, I believe, and the skirt-like veil. And if we look down on the bottom of the slide, we can see the bulbous base that is also an indication of this group.
Stay away from warts.
Stay away from warts on the cap, and those white gills can be a real problem as well. On our next slide, we'll see this is much more common, Amanita gemata, or excuse me, Amanita pantherina in this slide, sorry. This is also poisonous mushroom, but we have no reported fatalities from eating this mushroom.
Is it true, Larry, that if you see a white mushroom with white gills and it has the veil around the top of the stem and then a little cup at the base of the stem, is that a common indicator of being poisonous?
It sounds like you're describing the Amanita phalloides or virosis. So yeah, I would say that that's a pretty safe bet. If you've got a white gills and a prominent ring around the stem with a bulbous base, warts on the cap, well, it's not a good idea to experiment with something like that. There were about, I believe it was 1989, 14 people in California were killed by eating this mushroom, and they really consumed very small amounts.
How risky is it really to experiment with mushrooms? I've kind of thought that sometimes people overrated that riskiness, and that, I mean, are there a lot of dangerous ones, or
We do tend to be real afraid of mushrooms in the States, and you know, this could be, you could call this a healthy fear of mushrooms.
legitimate.
But I would say that there are, in general, if you stay within known groups of mushrooms, I would never suggest that you eat a mushroom that you're not familiar with. The best way, like anything else, is to try and recognize your mushrooms one at a time, just like recognizing species of plants or other vegetables that you eat. You don't just go out and start grazing on the lawn. I mean, so you don't just go out and start grazing on the mushrooms either.
There's a couple of key ways of trying it. Aside from keying it out in a book, maybe you could talk a little bit about a spore test.
Right.
Spore print.
As you can see here, basically mushrooms consist of a cap like this with gills underneath and a stem. Can we get a little closer here? Often on the stem, you'll notice that there's a bit of a ring that goes around the stem. This is more pronounced in some mushrooms than others. And these feathery-like structures on the mushroom we call gills. Every mushroom produces spores. That's the main reason for being a mushroom, actually, is it's the sexual reproductive part of the underground mycelium. Now these mycelium, which live completely underground, often grow together with the roots of a tree, and the mycelial fibers actually penetrate the root tissue, and inside the root tissue the plant and the fungus exchange nutrients, much in the same way that nitrogen-fixing bacteria supply nitrogen to legumes like peas and beans. Many pine trees and even many deciduous trees take nitrogen from the mushroom. In return, the mushroom extracts carbon from the tree and basically gets an energy source from the tree.
But anyway, you were talking about these gills and doing a spore print.
Yeah, we one important technique for identifying mushrooms is to separate the cap from the gill, and we usually like to put it on a piece of white paper. And over a period of time, usually about 2 or 3 hours, when we leave the mushroom on this piece of paper, we'll get a deposit of the spores of the mushroom. This deposit can usually tell us what the species of the mushroom is. White spores may indicate a large group of mushroom, but they may indicate mushrooms like the Amanita, which we have on the other monitor now. On the other hand, they may be brown, like the the agaric that I'm holding in my hand. And yet other mushrooms don't produce any structure outside. If we can get a close-up here, this is an underground mushroom called a truffle. And these mushrooms produce their spores completely inside of a closed ball. This ball is underground, and small rodents like squirrels and other animals will dig these up. They locate these completely by smell. And if you smell this, give this a whiff.
Oh, wow, it's strong.
Some of these mushrooms can be detected from
Little scent glands.
several feet or even yards away. Alain, perhaps you could tell us a little bit about the French black truffle.
Well, I don't know much about it. We find them a lot in Dordogne area, and I suspect they're pretty big.
How do they
size.
usually locate them?
Oh, they use dogs or pigs to
Mhm.
find them, and I don't know when the season is, but it's worth a lot of money.
Mhm.
Economically, it's a lot of money.
So
It's a
these
big market.
these are very
Yeah.
economically important mushrooms. Could we have the next slide, please?
See, when people are watching these slides, or they might have questions, and jot down a question, a note to remind you of your question, and then you can call in. Do people know the number to call in?
That's a good question. Does everybody?
Okay.
Are we putting that on the screen?
You guys have a number for people to flash on the screen, or just share
This
that with us
mushroom
all?
that we're looking
There
at
we go.
right now is the Amanita muscaria, the fly agaric, and this is a common and inedible mushroom. Again, notice the warts on the cap of this mushroom, all those tiny little spots. And again, if you find something with warts, it's best to look it up in a book and not throw it in the stew pot. So, could we have the next slide? A lot of times, people believe that mushrooms pop up, as they say, overnight. This series of slides will show the growth cycle of a species of Pholiota terrestris, that was grown right here in Missoula. This first picture was taken 4 days after the first mushroom started to break the surface. The second slide shows 8 days growth. The next one, 10 days growth. And finally, 13 days growth. So you can see that in 13 days, about 2 weeks, is what it takes this particular species of mushroom to reach maturity. Now, some species, like the shaggy mane, will complete their whole life cycle in about 48 hours. So they'll be going much more quickly. Puffballs are also notorious for going through their cycle in a fairly short period of time. The giant puffballs often take between 3 and 8 days to mature, depending on their size.
Do fairy rings mature quickly, or do they go slowly? From what I understand, there's this underneath, living in the ground, this big mycelial fungal mass, and it can last for years and years and years. And the hugest one is like 35 miles across, or something like that.
That's true.
And
yeah.
they have, as the edge of the organism spreads out along the edge, it's like a ongoing wave of reproduction, and that's where the ring comes from. It's the shape of the organism
Mhm.
underneath.
But fairy ring mushrooms grow outward at about 3 inches a year. We've got a fairy ring mushroom up in the meadow in the rattlesnake that we've estimated to be about 130 years old. We paced
Do
off
I
the
get
distance.
answers?
No, I think she'll answer it.
Okay.
Oh, okay. But again,
Fairy
we've-
rings are I get a lot of complaints about fairy rings. And
I
I'm
do
sure
too.
you too. They are established in old lawns, places that have been undisturbed where the mycelia has a chance to become established.
Really
And,
get growing.
People, really want to kill them, because they do, as they move out,
Line one.
they leave a brown spot. But eat them, don't kill them.
You don't have to beat that
Not
up.
all of them are, some are toxic, some gray beans are toxic.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
species that is most common out here, Marasmius oretes, is a small white mushroom that's
Hello.
Hi,
Hello.
you're on the
Yeah.
show.
Is this Naturally Speaking?
It sure is.
Has anyone talked about the Amanita verna mushroom, the defying angel?
yeah, the destroying angel. Sure, we've got a picture of a related mushroom. Unfortunately, we don't have enough. We don't have all the mushroom pictures that we'd like to
Is
show.
it true that that destroying angel looks very similar to another very edible mushroom?
Well, we do have a species of mushroom that people like to eat that is completely white.
Uh-huh.
It's Russula brevipes, but it doesn't have a ring around the stem, and it tends to be funnel shaped.
And the Amanita verna, does that grow locally here?
To tell you the truth, I've never turned it up locally. We found related species in Oregon and Washington, but I'm yet to find any here in Montana.
What happens if a person eats one or two of these?
Basically, within the first few hours, not much. But within about 48 hours, the toxins in this mushroom are absorbed into your bloodstream, and you might want to take that picture off because we're talking about a different mushroom. The toxins from this mushroom are absorbed into your bloodstream, and they're cyclic peptides. They're like a protein.
Mm-hmm.
They're taken out of the body in the liver. The liver takes them out of the bloodstream and puts on immunoglobulins, little recognizing agents, so that the kidneys know to remove this from the bloodstream.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, when this identifying agent, this identifying particle, is taken off by the kidneys, the toxin then burns through the kidney and returns to the bloodstream, where it's again taken out by the liver, again returned to the kidney, again burns through the kidney, again returns to the bloodstream, and this results in a cycle where the patient usually dies from liver or kidney failure, unless, without medical intervention.
Is there any way of saving someone who has eaten one of these?
Immediate medical attention. I'm not a medical doctor, so I wouldn't venture into the prognosis or the.
Okay, then the other question I have, the last question is this. Is there actually a food value in mushrooms? I heard someone say that there isn't.
Yeah, actually, this is a common misconception, but mushrooms, by dry weight, have just about as much protein as any grains or dried food. I'm trying to think. The soybean actually has more protein by dry weight than, for example, the oyster mushroom. But in general, mushrooms do contain a good deal of protein. The reason I think that many people say that mushrooms don't have food value is because they're very, very low in carbohydrates. They're almost all the body of the mushroom is composed of fibers like cellulose, and as a result, they're a good source of fiber. But you'd get mighty hungry if you tried to survive on just mushrooms alone.
Some mushrooms have medicinal values also, don't they?
They sure do, and if we look at the next slides, we'll see what some of those medicinal mushrooms are. Could we?
See, we're kind of leaving this guy. Thanks for calling.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
thanks a lot.
Yeah, was there anything else? Yeah. Okay. Since we're talking about medicinal mushrooms, let's move it forward about 5 there, Greg, and okay, one more. Alrighty, one more. There we go. Excellent. This is a picture of Ganoderma lucidum. Now this mushroom, also known as the reishi by the Japanese or lingqi by the Chinese, has been used as a medicine for over 2,000 years. These mushrooms are currently being investigated by our federal government as a potential source of drugs which may be effective against cancer and AIDS and other immune-related disorders. Could we have another slide?
You know, we should finish talking about the fairy ring too, before we forget.
Okay, well, why don't we,
Okay.
we'll work on.
Just we'll get, as long as we get back to that.
Okay.
Not fairy ring.
Gotta get those fairy ring mushrooms back.
Can't let 'em dangling.
This is Termedius cinnabarina. This is an Australian species. We have a related mushroom up here called turkey tails. And these often cover a whole log. You may notice they're known as Termedius versicolor, and they often have several stripes. This is another mushroom which is several polysaccharides which are believed to be effective in immune response. And so we'll, right now, you know, the jury is still out. These have again a tradition of being used in Oriental medicine, but as of right now, we don't really assume that they have any value in this country.
Is that the same mushroom artist design on it?
Do you have any?
No, I
Do we
don't
have
have
it?
it.
Oh, Ganoderma, yeah. We do have some mushrooms around here that were, for example, the quinine conch, as it's called commonly, was being purchased by the government back during, I believe, World War II. People would go down and shoot these off the trees because it had antibiotic properties. And before the advent of, before penicillin became widely available, this was, you know, used as medicine. Do we have a caller, or should we move on?
There's a caller.
Yeah, we'll take another caller here.
No, no, but call on in, and we'll take you.
Oh.
Is there a
Yeah.
caller? I guess not.
Just never can tell, can you?
It's time for fairy rings.
Okay, back to those old fairy rings. What did you want to
So
say,
is
Terry?
there a shake test for?
By golly, there is a shake test.
Yeah.
Fancy that. I wish we had some fairy rings here in the office with us, and that would really facilitate our discussion of fairy rings.
Well, I tell people, especially if they have small children and they're concerned about whether or not the mushrooms are toxic, to teach their small children to kick over the mushrooms and not to eat them. Be careful about that. And if they're really concerned about the cosmetic aspects of fairy rings, I tell them fertilize your lawn more heavily, because sometimes the fairy ring, you'll notice, will be a bright green ring of grass right where the fairy ring was last year, where the advancing edge was, and people don't like that. So I say, well, fertilize the rest of your lawn to equal, so the grass, the rest of the lawn will be equally green, and that will camouflage it.
Right.
And sometimes, like right on the edge in front of the green ring, you'll see this patch of dead grass because the
Or behind it.
or behind it,
Mhm.
but the fungus will be killing out all the dead grass. So you can perforate that ring and help with the aeration and the moisture, and that will help alleviate some of the effects.
Fairy rings generally tend to release nitrogen as they
Mhm.
grow. And for this reason, that is why you get the green grass. In fact, an even more effective way might be to only fertilize behind the ring, because often when the fairy ring moves on and leaves the dead grass behind, the reason that the grass is suffering is because it lacks nitrogen. It's become accustomed to this extra little boost that the fairy ring provides. So if you put a little fish emulsion or something behind that, it's fine. One thing, now we've been saying that the marasmius, the fairy ring, the common fairy ring here, is an edible mushroom, but like many mushrooms, the fairy ring does absorb toxins from the environment. So if you've been using chemicals on your lawn, you would want to make sure that you didn't use for food any of the mushrooms that might have absorbed, say, Roundup or something like that.
Well, even a simple weed and feed.
Mm.
Would,
Yes.
Sure.
have plenty of toxins.
In fact,
It's not
whenever
just
I'm
synthetic
hunting,
nitrogen.
marasmius for my own table, I always look to make sure there's dandelions and clover growing around.
Right.
You know, because that's a pretty good indication that nobody's been using.
But can you pick a sample and shake it around by its little stem?
That's a very good example, and if we had some fairy rings here in the studio, I'd be delighted to go into that in more detail. Afraid we'll have to wait on that.
All right.
It's not a precaution in general to take when you pick up mushroom to be careful where you pick up the mushroom also around the roads, you know.
It's true, yeah.
With the
I've-
cars passing by and
Where they might put like de-icer on the roads in the winter.
Or even
Exactly.
lead from exhaust.
Mhm.
the exhaust.
It's true. Again, especially especially shaggy manes, which we have a slide of right here. Can we look at that fairy ring slide? Next one. Next one. Next one.
Keep going.
Keep going. Keep going. Unfortunately, we have to finally keep going. There you go. There's our fairy ring on the mind.
Shake.
This is our shaggy mane mushroom, Coprinus comatus, and as you can see, this shaggy mane is in the process that we call autodigestion. It's decomposing itself. This takes about 36 hours at 55 or 60 degrees in that area. We have a couple different types of shaggy mane. Notice that this shaggy mane, which is Coprinus comatus, has the little scales on the top. The next slide, you'll see a related species, Coprinus atramentarius, that we call the tippler's bane. And this tippler's bane mushroom is has a compound called coprine, which is similar to the drug antabuse, and this causes a toxic reaction when it's consumed with alcohol. So if you're a drinker, again, the tippler's bane, this is not a mushroom that you should consume. Although
What happened?
basically flushed, hot, sometimes convulsions, and generally unpleasant feeling.
We've got a call coming in.
Okay.
Hi.
Try
Is
the
that-
other line.
Hi, you're on the air.
Mushroom
Not
person?
sure I can
Hello?
hear it.
Well,
I'll try one again.
well, we've got you there somewhere.
Try it again.
Don't
Call us back.
don't be shy. We aren't. While we're discussing this, let's take a look back at a couple slides here. Just move a couple backwards there, Greg. And yeah, that's fine. We're looking now at some chanterelles. These are white chanterelles, as found in. These are from just across the border in Idaho, as a matter of fact. These are some very commercially important mushrooms that only grow in the mycorrhizal association that we discussed earlier. These mushrooms cannot be cultivated, and that way they're very much like morels. They grow in association with the roots of trees. Do we have one more back?
Many trees can't even grow without the mycorrhizal relationship.
That's true.
Yes, I went to this, I visited this pine seedling nursery, and they deliberately cultivate and inject their particular brand of fungus into the soil, and they have noticed great
Mhm.
increases in growth. On the other hand, there are also pathogenic strains of fungi too, strains of fungi that will make a plant sick. So it's just like people. Fungus are just like people. There's good people and bad people. There's good fungus and bad fungus.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but the whole, it's all part of the whole concept of living soil.
Mhm.
That mycelium under the soil are in there along with all the fungus and algae and insects, and they're all doing a particular symbiotic job. And
Mhm.
the mycorrhizae can actually be a glue that the mycelium can hold the soil together. You know, sometimes you'll dig up and you'll see this white fuzz under the ground. You know,
Yeah.
it's involved in a real complex relationship, which generally indicates a good, healthy soil.
Yeah, another thing that can help is, fungus helps dramatically with decomposition. I mean, we would be really stuck with lots of unrotted carcasses if it weren't for fungus to help decompose the dead trees and plant material back into the soil.
Right. An old organic growing technique is to make compost tea, which is to just soak composted organic material, usually like manure and straw or something, in water, and then strain that out and use that to water your plants. Well, a twist on that is to look in your area for duff, for decomposing organic material, usually around deciduous trees, and add that to your stew, if you will, your compost tea. And I've seen that used especially successfully with tree seedlings, like you were saying. And as a matter of survivability of plants can be greatly increased, especially native plants, by getting, trying to get some of the mycelium from the area that you've gotten your seeds from or your seedlings from.
And also duck near successfully growing specimens of the large sample of the tree that you're trying to grow.
As a matter of fact, that is the one way that we have found to establish exotic species like these truffles, and like as we see on the screen there, the Boletus edulis, is to plant seedlings around a spot or around a tree that is infected with this fungus, and allow the seedlings to grow in that environment for a few years, and then transplant them into their new location. And they often take the fungus with them. I grew up on a Christmas tree farm, and this is one of the things that we noticed quite frequently, was that we would get huge areas, entire patches would become infected with the Swillus mushroom, which actually helped the tree grow. It prevents, once the mycorrhizae bonds with the tree root, it actually physically covers the root, just like wrapping string around your finger, and it is so completely covered that the tree root is therefore impermeable to infection by other disease-causing organisms. This is the picture that we're looking at here on the screen is Boletus edulis. Could we have the one behind this too? Before? Going back. This is another shot of our Boletus. Now, right now in Missoula, this mushroom has been selling for the marvelous price of $1 or $2 a pound. How would you compare that with the prices for the cep, which is the same
the
mushroom?
cep de Bordeaux, usually when you have a lot of cep that year, is around $10 a pound. And some year where the cep is not as much, you can find it more for 20, 25, 30. It can go on, depend how much quantity that year is. And usually we can find Boletus, the cep de Bordeaux, in the spring, and also very much September, October through November. So it's a very difficult mushroom to find because thousands and thousands of people go after them, and the habitat is most of the time hardwood, and we can also find some variation of Boletus, some cep de pin. Most people don't pick them up. I do, if I cannot find any.
How would you compare the mushroom hunting here with mushroom hunting in France, for example?
The mushroom hunting in France is much stressful. You have to get up early, and you hide often your baskets. You don't try to show how many you pick up. As you look at the area, if many cars already arrived, it's very intense. You look at pick a mushroom to have fun, and you do have a good wax, but to look for them is very difficult.
I
And
think
so
it's
usually
maybe
we
a little easier, huh, over here.
it's not going. Yeah, is in Montana is. You could walk by a mushroom undisturbed and it's incredible. In France, you could not do that. You really have to search to the worst place, especially if you didn't get up that early. You really have to look very hard.
Yeah, I remember you saying on one of our hunts that you couldn't believe the old dead fungus that were already
Right.
eaten by worms.
Right.
that
Yeah.
were,
You can find by accident few there, but they're very rare. Usually, you can find new ones more often than the old ones. Very much, and usually you use a stick and you move mouse and leaves, and you really hunt.
Karen's got kind of an interesting thing that she's done with some of our local mushrooms. What have you got there, Karen?
Well, I've got some mushroom paper here, and it was made out of this foamies here. That what do they grow on?
They grow on pretty much on rotten logs, and sometimes these are also a parasite on sick or dying trees.
Well, anyway, when they're real fresh, they're a little softer than this. This is an old one, so it's kind of hard. But all we did was chop it up and soak it for like a week or so, and then smashed it up with a mortar or pestle, and then put it in a blender and made like this mash with lots of water. And this is some of the paper that we made. These are some different kinds. This darker color here is using the whole mushroom with this dark part. And then the golder paper is from carving this off and just using the golder insides. And this is just straight mushrooms and water and nothing else. You don't need any kind of mordant or fixative with it to help hold the fibers together. And actually it works real well to just hold the other. This is like a 60-40 mix of 60% mushroom and 40% just old paper bits that had been soaked and mixed together. And it needs a little more work, but you could write on that. That's not a bad little piece of paper there. And I just brought this for fun too. This is a piece of Kniff paper, and it's made from a plant that's related to okra. It has nothing to do with any forests. It's a real nice piece of paper compared to this mushroom paper, but it's a lot of fun. It's a good project for kids. You find these and.
It's a nice art form too.
Yeah, it is. And this is a bowl that was made out of some recycled paper. You can just stick it over any kind of form and make all sorts of different things. This has poppies pressed in it, although they're falling out.
I think one of the nice things about this this type of mushroom paper, as a matter of fact, is that
You just wanna pass
it
around?
doesn't because unlike wood, mushrooms don't have the cross links on their cellulose fiber. They're not bonded together chemically, and so in the paper making process, it's not necessary to add sulfuric acid or hydrochloric acid or some chlorine compound to help break the cellulose apart. Once you take the mushroom and physically break it down, you're ready to make paper, and the byproducts are edible, basically.
Yeah, so you could probably
completely
use any kind
non-toxic.
of mushroom besides this, right? They're all
You could use
pretty
many
much
kinds of
cellulose.
mushrooms, yeah. A woman has even written a book, actually, about how you can make various types of paper using mushrooms. And also, several mushrooms are being used to dye wool. I know some people are interested in dyeing wool, and
You
that's
could,
another.
do a fontaine also,
Yeah.
having water splashing. And
Sure.
is that the one the artist used? to
No,
do
this is not the
No,
artist conch.
it's
We
not.
do have another mushroom around that resembles this a little bit, that is used for drawing on the bottom because it
Yeah.
leaves a mark.
These kind of grow like trees too. They have rings
Mhm.
that you can count. You can see their years of growth on them.
Well, let's get back though to the primary use of or the primary interest that many people have in mushrooms, of course, is their edibility. And again, besides the bolete, which we're showing on the screen now, could we have the slide before this? We also have the, this is an example of the Spiraceus radicata, or the cauliflower mushroom. This is found in our area. It's a nice big mushroom. This one's about the size of a beach ball. And this is a delicious edible that, again, only grows in established forests. Angie, do you have a few things to say about the economic value?
Sure, I think that it's important to realize that mushrooms provide an economic part of our economy. You know, it's important, and it's important when we're talking about logging our forests away. And our region, and especially the Pacific Northwest, where they have a multi-million-dollar industry in mushrooms there, people have made over, I think the state of Oregon made $60 million on mushrooms alone. And they're a really important component in the forests. And if we cut the forest down, the mushrooms cannot grow there again. So it's a sustainable way to make money off of our forests rather than cutting them down once and not having another return except for that one time.
And it's
Mushrooms
annual.
come year after year, especially if we harvest them in a sustainable way where people don't over-harvest, but they do come year after year, and it's a really big money maker. So I think that that's important.
Mm-hmm. The price of matsutake, if we move back another slide or two, we can find a picture of matsutake. There you go. This particular mushroom goes for about $100 a pound in Tokyo these days. It's so valuable that it's even hunted by helicopter in British Columbia. And again, this mushroom is completely dependent on the mycorrhizal relationship. It's dependent on a living forest for its survival. And we don't have much information. In fact, as far as I know, we don't really know how long it takes after a forest is logged for matsutake to come back. As far as we know, it doesn't. Perhaps over centuries we can reestablish it, but generally speaking, at least within our lifetime, once a forest is cut down and the matsutake is lost, it's not possible to reestablish these colonies. They live in a complex association with not only the mycorrhizal association of the tree roots, but also decomposing the duff and forest floor material as well.
So like other types of wild crafting, you have to use restraint or common sense, in that you try not to pick all of any crop that you're going after. But if you're interested in mushrooms as an economic source, you might consider cultivating them yourself. There's various levels of cultivation. When you go into inside cultivation, it's a little tricky in some respects. You have to be worried about contaminants from other species, and it's certainly possible, and it's very lucrative to a lot of people. But it can also be done more on the fly, more on the wild. You might have noticed an old compost pile of mushrooms growing. And certainly everybody's familiar with mushrooms on old manure. One thing that we're looking at here in Montana is the idea of growing oyster mushrooms on cottonwoods along river bottoms and creek bottoms.
Well,
Here it is.
here we have a picture
Oh, these are
of
shiitakes.
Oh.
of shiitake growing in a greenhouse in Japan. These logs are cultivated in such a fashion that they can be forced to produce mushrooms either 2 or 4 times a year.
Once the logs they're sterilized and inoculated, and they go and go.
Right. They'll get 2 or 3 flushes, sometimes 4 out of a single log.
And then when they're worn out, you can
Then
re-sterilize
when
them
you're
and do it again.
worn out, the close up there. Straight. Other way. Sorry. Here's a close up of the of the shiitake growing. And again, the problem with shiitake in our area is that it requires oak logs. Well, I don't know how much you folks get out in the woods, but we don't have a lot of oak trees out in Montana. And as a result, and also because of our cold and dry weather, there are quite a few difficulties encountered in trying to raise shiitake. I know that Ginny's gotten a lot of inquiries. I field a lot of questions myself.
You can buy a little stick in a lot of magazines.
That's
in your
true. It's
window,
possible to
yeah.
buy cultures and keep them in your own house. But as far as a commercial operation goes, it's a pretty expensive, and you might have a tough time with profit margin by the time you figure in, one, importing oak logs, two, keeping your greenhouse heated, regulating humidity and temperature.
Greenhouses are very expensive.
Yeah, so we've been working here in Montana on an alternative. If you could move back one there, Greg. We've been looking at this particular mushroom, the oyster mushroom, and Carrie can fill us in a little bit on this.
Well, as we see a lot of land being bought up here, people are looking for alternative uses for land. They're looking at ways of trying to develop some economic reality for keeping land undeveloped. And right now, you know, a lot of river bottom land or riparian area is also doubles as rangeland for cattle, which is, you know, a strong economic base here. And this is a possible alternative. With an axe, an inoculant, and some dead trees, you can inoculate cottonwoods to start producing an annual crop. It's and with some maintenance, you can actually make as much as $500 an acre, perhaps more. It's still just kind of experimental here in Montana. You know, they definitely grow all by themselves.
We've got a caller, line 1. Hi, you're on the air.
Hello. I was asking a question on the different time cycles. You talk about different mushrooms, but don't they occur at different times of the year?
Yes.
And could you give kind of a feeling for, say, the morels and the oysters and the shaggy manes, that when the different ones are usually available, and possibly go into a little bit on the habitat on each?
Sure. The oyster mushrooms that Carrie's been talking about, especially, and the ones that we have on the screen as well, are both spring and fall mushrooms. These tend to come out when the temperature and humidity conditions are right, and they're the oyster mushrooms especially tend to be real adventitious. Whenever the time and temperature is right, they'll do it. It could be the spring, could be the fall. It's not so important. Other mushrooms like morels are very keyed into the season. You'll never find a true morel coming up in the fall. You only find them after winter. Now, at this point, people will be going, well, wait a minute, I hear about people finding morels in July. Well, if you go high enough in altitude, July is spring, and it's pretty much that type of a situation that we're looking at. Morels pretty much will show up when the snow melts. Other mushrooms only grow around the edge of melting snow. They're actually called, appropriately enough, melting snow mushrooms. Yet others, like the shaggy manes, tend to grow during the summer and fruit when the temperature drops. Okay, they tend to kick in. Cold seems to set them off rather than a certain amount of heat. I guess I hope that's
So the
enough
primary habitat for the morel would be cottonwood leaves or
the white morel
greens.
that we have around here definitely grows under the cottonwoods. The angusticeps, the black morel as we call it, is much more likely to be growing under Doug fir, and this is the mushroom that is most common in burn areas. I think a lot of people have probably heard about the about the large volume of mushrooms that was moved out of the Libby and Troy area this last year. And I think that, you know, estimates range between $1 million and $2 million that have left the state in this way. But right now we don't have a law that deals with this.
Yeah, this is a big concern for us. I've talked to several different governmental authorities about this, Larry, and the first person I talked to was Don Simmons at the USDA, and there's been some recent legislation passed just very recently, and if anybody sells more than $15,000 worth of any produce or commodity, they're required to get a license with the USA, and that's as much legislation as the USA has about wild mushrooms, so we had to go elsewhere, yes.
USDA.
Yeah. So I went to the Environmental and Health Sciences Agency and I talked to one of their representatives there. We had quite a nice talk. He was real helpful. Right now, it's legal for someone to go pick mushrooms in the forest and eat them for their own consumption, but it's understood it's at your own risk, and that's, you know, kind of a cardinal law. It's totally illegal to pick mushrooms and sell them to restaurants for, you know, for consumers to eat. And there are several health concerns. Some of them are quite legitimate, I find. Montana State has no apparatus set up for certifying inspectors of mushrooms, and you could have anybody come off the street and say, "Oh, I know what the difference between poisonous and non-toxic mushrooms are. I could decide what's toxic and what's not," and they don't know, and they pass along a poisonous mushroom to some trusting customer, and that's a real concern. There's other concerns. You could have your mushrooms improperly processed. You could have someone go pick a bunch of mushrooms and let them sit in the back of the trunk on a hot summer day for a day and a half, and they'll have lots of other fungus growing on the surface of the mushrooms that could poison somebody if that was, you know, improperly done. So you have to think about that, and there's also a lot of fear and concern out there because they just don't know. So that's the rule at this point.
Okay. Well, thanks, Ginny. We have a caller on line 1 here. Yes.
Hi, I have a question about psychedelic mushrooms. I think some of my friends and different people are under the impression that because they're natural, they aren't harmful to you. And I'm wondering, what is the story on that? Are they harmful to you, even though they are natural?
Okay. Well, first, we have to understand that there's probably about 30 different species of psychoactive mushrooms here in the United States right now. And in addition to that, very little study has been done about different species and their potency. One study by Weir in Seattle probably a decade ago found that the potency of these mushrooms varied by as much as a factor of 10 in the same species. So it's a little bit difficult to make generalizations.
Can you equate potency with it being harmful? Is that what you mean by potency?
Weir was looking at the psychoactive ingredients, I believe, but
so you don't know if they're harmful or not. That hasn't really been studied yet. Is that what you're saying?
Well, I think that what mostly what concerns have been dealt with is the psychoactive principles, usually psilocybin, which is a particular type of indole in the mushroom. It's actually a tryptophan precursor. It's a building block of protein in the mushrooms.
So it wouldn't be smart to assume that just because they're natural, they're not harmful.
No.
Can you say that?
I think that's a safe assumption. And the other problem that you also have to be careful of, one that David Aurora mentions in his book, is that many times when people are buying a hallucinogenic mushroom or something on the street, often they find that these are not true hallucinogenic mushrooms at all, but rather a dried store-bought mushroom or a dried species of unknown origin which has been treated with something to make it psychoactive. So as long as there's no government control, I think it's pretty hard to make blanket statements about
Yeah.
the potency or toxicity of a mushroom.
It's common misconception that just because something is naturally derived means it's less toxic. Many of our organic pesticides, like nicotine is a common organic pesticide, is highly, highly toxic, more toxic than some of the synthetically produced pesticides. So you just can't say just because it's naturally derived that means it's less toxic. It could be mighty poisonous.
Okay, and I had another question about cooking mushrooms. What do they taste like cooked, different mushrooms? I imagine they would all have different flavors. My friend is asking this question. Why don't I put her on? I was told that you can cook and make some kind of jelly or something. Is that possible?
Very interesting. There are a lot of different kinds of mushrooms out there. One of them has been called the candied mushroom, and yes, this mushroom, which I collected last year, can be treated, soaked in sugar and warmed up, and it becomes kind of like a gummy bear.
Okay, thanks.
There's about as many different kinds of mushroom as there are different kinds of vegetable. And so, again, I would hope that in watching this program you would notice that we are trying to examine mushrooms very specifically and not make generalizations about mushrooms overall. The best way that you can learn about mushrooms is to pick up a good field guide and learn your mushrooms one by one, just like you would do anything else.
If you have questions, find someone who knows mushrooms. Don't hesitate to ask. And when you bring a basket full of mushrooms, make sure they look at each one, not just a few on the top.
Right. You don't want to just throw all your mushrooms together. Whenever you pick mushrooms, be sure to separate them out by collection. Take this group of mushrooms that you found here, put it in one bag. Take the next group, put it in another bag. Because if you mix them all up, you'll end up with a broken one here and a broken one here. I mean, when you go out berry picking, you don't throw all your berries together and try and sort them out later. It's the same with mushrooms. Make sure of each collection and treat them as individuals.
The good news in France is when you know sure what mushroom you're picking, you can go to the pharmacist. And the big season to pick up mushroom in France is in the fall. And the pharmacist.
Okay. Well, thanks a lot. It's been
Mushroomy.
It's been shroomy.
Voilà.
Pick your friends carefully.
Yeah.
Well, welcome to Dial a Psychic. This is a new show, perhaps the first in the whole country, and it came to me after I watched this show. Could we have a close-up on this, please? Dial a Lawyer. I don't know if any of you have seen Dial a Lawyer on TV recently on Missoula Community Access TV, but it has helped change my life. It may have helped change yours too, if you know what I'm talking about. I've got my life straightened out all legally now, thanks to Dial a Lawyer. However, lawyers can't answer all questions. They can answer many, many questions. But they cannot predict the future, typically, nor can they interpret your dreams, or tell your fortunes. I can. I am the great facade. The great Fadad. Or is it facade? I can't remember. But anyway, I want you to call me live on TV. This is live. You can call me on the phone, and I will talk to you and answer any questions you have regarding your future, your past, your present, who you want to marry, who you don't want to marry, whether you're going to have bad luck or good luck in the coming year. I am a real fortune teller. So let's have those phones ring. In the meantime, I will need some, perhaps a volunteer. I see a young man in the studio behind the camera. Would you be so kind, sir, as to come up and let me tell your fortune? You know, this all got started down in Southern California, actually. I tried to get on public access TV down there, but the FCC got on my case, and so I came up to Montana, and so far I just hope I can make it up here. After all, this is free. I'm not charging any money. This is absolutely free.
What are these numbers here and these letters on the hands?
Oh, those are, well, I'm
Are
afraid I
those
really
trade
can't.
secrets?
I can't tell you.
Is this
Actually,
everybody's future?
I'm afraid it is. Fortunately or unfortunately, I do see death in your future. But anyway, so let me see your hand. Oh, you have what kind of, do you use dishwashing liquid?
Yes.
Is it Palmolive?
No, it's Dove.
Well, I can tell you right there that you like to read poetry if you is that true?
Oh, of course.
My gosh, let's see here. Oh.
Was that like a special, almost like a magnifying glass?
Oh,
A psychic magnifying glass?
I see. Have you been bitten by a turtle recently?
Not recently.
No?
Not in this lifetime.
Have you lost a cow?
No, I've had a cow.
You had a cow. Tell me about this cow.
It was like this. Boo! Boo! Boo!
Is that? Oh yes. Okay. Well, this this is very profound. This is very profound. All I can tell you is that don't lose this cow. Don't lose this cow, because if you do, the cow. It'll mean, what was it? If you lose a cow, you close your fingers around your thumb and make a fist, and you'll be safe.
Like this?
Yes, yes,
Just for like punching the cow?
yes. Let me see your hand again. Remember, callers out there, you can call in live. This is live on Missoula TV. If you're out there watching, you can call in now, and I will tell your fortune, interpret your dream, answer any questions you have. Have you heard any roosters crowing at your back door recently?
No.
Have you had a cat recently?
No.
Oh, gosh. Well, let's see here. I see, oh my gosh, Oh my gosh, I see here in your hand, I see that you will receive a visit next year from the IRS.
Oh no!
Yes. Yes, what else? What else is there? Oh, I see that you will spend money unwisely this new year.
Oh no!
I'm sorry, that's all I have time for now. I want to go on to the next person who could want their fortune told.
Okay, well, thank you very much, the great facade. Or is it Fadad?
So, this is Dial a Psychic. Or Dial a Fortune Teller. Or Dial a Clairvoyant. Or Dial a Weirdo. Oh my gosh. I think we have a caller. Hello.
Oh,
Hello, it's this. You have called Dial a Psychic. Thank you for calling.
yeah, I think I better turn my TV down.
All right.
One moment.
He's turning down his TV. That's good. That's good. But leave the TV on. It's good that we need to commune. There's certain. You must have your TV set on.
It's on.
Turn it down, but I need to communicate through the waves. I need to. Your TV needs to be on.
It's on.
Okay. Well, my name is the Great Facade, and I have. I know a lot. I know about everything. I have a master's degree in science, and from Dr. Science, and my pappy taught me a lot. Could I answer any questions, sir?
Well, yeah, I'm out of work. Will I be working soon?
You. Let's see. What side of the? Are you holding your phone? Could you hold the phone on the left side of your head?
Yes.
It is. Okay. I see work in your future. I see work in 3 years. You will be working at a new department store in Canada. Ah, yes. And you will be managing an ice skating rink in the shopping mall. Do you know anything about ice skating, sir?
No. Absolutely nothing.
Well,
I skate, but I've only ice skated just a few times in my life.
well, I hope you enjoy this new job. I don't know whether I'm wrong or I'm right, but this is what I see.
Okay, I thank you very much.
Thank you very much for calling.
You betcha.
Well, that was our first caller. I think that is history in Missoula. I think this is the first caller to commune with me, the Great Facade, over the airwaves. And actually, I believe that was right, that prediction. It's coming in clearer and clearer now, the more I see it. This man he will wear a white outfit with a white cowboy hat, and he will manage the ice skating rink, and he will skate, and he will be wearing chaps. I wish I could have that job. Well, now call 542-MCAT, 542-6228, and talk to the Great Facade. Not many people believe in fortune telling these days. It seems to me I set up my shop on the sidewalks in Missoula this summer, and I've set up at Karis Park, but there's very few people who are willing to pay to have their fortune told. I think that's very unfortunate. But so I decided I'll quit charging money and I'll come on TV for free and offer my services for free. Let me give some advice, some of the things I know, some examples of some of my wisdom. Here, I'm going to give advice. This is free advice. Say you want your neighbors to move. If you want your neighbors to move, what you do is you write the name of the person you want to move 8 times on paper. And you put it in a dark bottle and add 4 tablespoons of vinegar, 1 tablespoon of whole black pepper, 1 guinea pepper, 1 cayenne pepper, and hang the bottle where the sun can rise and set on it. They will move quickly. And also, if you sweep behind an undesirable rumor every time he goes out, or put hatred powder in the hatband, it will give him a wandering mind. There's one more antidote for moved neighbors. Take their shoe and throw it in the graveyard, an abandoned graveyard, and they will wander about and no one will pay any attention to them. So that's if you want to get rid of some of your neighbors. Let's say you want to stop a man from wandering. Let's say you want to stop a man from wandering. Oh, there's some kind of a signal coming through. What is this? Please. Oh, a message just came through. It was a strong message. It's a secret message. I'm afraid I can't share it on the air. Let's say, folks, you want to stop a man from wandering. What you do is you take a bared rock rooster, name him after the man, and tie the rooster with a long rope to the fence and shorten it 1 foot every day and feed him there. And start with a 5-foot rope and shorten it to a yard. Feed the chicken 3 days there at 1 yard, and the man will never wander. These are some of the things I know. These are some of the things I can tell you. If you give me a call at 542-6228, and I can maybe help set your life straight. It is important that we know our future and our past and our present, and there's no better way than to call me, The Great Facade, at 542-6228. It's Dial a Psychic. It's free, and it is for you. I'm not in this for myself. Believe me, I had a vision when I was a young man. Someone predicted my future, and it turned out it was true. And this was an old man, and I then went to the library and read all about it. After that, he predicted that I would catch a lot of fish that day. I did. So anyway, I want you to call. I want these phones to ring. 542-6228. Call Dial a Psychic. This is a new show on MCAT. I know a lot, folks. Here's another example of what I know. Say you have an enemy, and you want to make your enemy sick. What you do is you take the soiled undergarments of theirs and hang them on a bare rafter and get some hackberry switches and whip the garment. They will be so sore they can't get out of bed. That's what you can do if you want to get back at your enemy. There's a lot of magical things that I know about. Say you want to make your husband stay at home. What you do is you take sugar and cinnamon and mix them together. And then you write the name of husband and wife 9 times. Roll paper with names and put a bottle of holy water with sugar and honey and lay it under the back step. Oh, there's a lot of magical things happening here tonight. Ah! Oh no! Please. I think this guy works with the FCC. They're always on my case. They won't leave me alone, but they know they have no right to take what I'm doing away. But boy, do they bother me. They really bother me. Let's say you want to make a love charm. I'll tell you how to make a love charm. What you do is you take powdered angelworm dust mixed with love powder, and you can get these at Butterfly Herbs, and ground John and conqueror root. Place the above articles in a small bag with a string on each end of the bag so as to meet around the waist. This charm will make your lover or sweetheart come to you and stay. Again, that is just an example of some of the wisdom that I've acquired over my 114 years of life. I did have some cosmic surgery done, plastic surgery, excuse me, down in California. They gave me back my young voice, my young looks, and I hardly look over a day over 100 anymore. Here's some advice on how to keep a house empty. Tie 9 red peppers on a string and hang them up the chimney. Well, we've got a caller. Hallelujah. Hello. Hello, are you there? Oh, no. I think I goofed up. I hung up on the caller accidentally. If you could call back if you're out there. Hello, thanks for calling. But call back if you can, because I think I hung up on you. Let's see. If you want to give someone running feet, let me tell you what you can do. To give someone running feet, take sand out of one of his tracks and mix the sand with red pepper. All right, I'm going to try again here. We got a caller. Okay. All right. Okay, we got a caller. This is exciting. We're going to the caller. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Here, caller. Hello. Hello? Hello.
Hello?
Hi, you're here. You're on the air with the Great Facade.
Is this a great facade?
Well, yes.
I thought you were the great facade. Now you're calling yourself the great facade. Is it the great facade or is it the great facade? Which are you? I don't understand.
Well, this is something that the Federal Communications Commission and I are in court about right now, and it's in court. I'm sorry, it hasn't been settled.
Well, I have a question about my job.
Oh,
This is Vi Thompson, and I've been with KECI for the last 50 years, and I feel that my job might be in a little jeopardy, and I was wondering if you might be able to suggest anything. How long do you feel that I'm going to hold on to this job at KECI?
Vi, I want to ask you something. Do you think there are any ghosts in the studio where you work?
Well, I'm very glad that you asked me that, because I've been thinking for a long time now that there really could be, because I sense a lot of hostility from my colleagues, and I don't think they're all human.
I think
I was
there's...
just curious to know, who does your hair?
Well, my barber, the barber college in town here, I go there. They hate me, though.
It's lovely. Is that your natural color?
Well, no, I'll tell you the truth. This is,
It's bleached,
it's
isn't
an
it?
accident, actually. I went swimming in this pond up the Blackfoot River, and, God, I didn't know it, but it was a cyanide leach pond of a mine, and got out of there right quick, but permanent hair change.
I understand. Well, this is a lot of fun, and I'm really having a good time. I wanted to know, did I see you the other day at Hennessy's shopping?
Yes?
I thought it was you. I've seen you around town before, and I want to tell you, that fall ensemble that you picked out, it's you. It goes wonderfully with your hair. It's beautiful. It really matches your complexion.
I didn't expect this call this evening. This is wonderful.
Well,
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you're enjoying it. I want to tell you, it was a real problem trying to get on with all the calls that you've been getting. I'm surprised I got through.
Oh, you are lucky. Wait,
Oh, by the way, I do have a question I wanted to ask you, aside from my job situation, which is quite perilous. As you know, I've been having a sort of quasi-affair with Les Schwab, and I was wondering if you could predict, now that he is kind of, having fun with me, and also he has his lovely wife,
you. I'm afraid I'm gonna have to ask you some personal questions.
All right, go ahead.
When you think of Les, does your eye? Do you notice if your eye twitches?
No, my eye doesn't twitch, but I get a little tingle in a place that I can't mention on public TV.
I'm sorry. I have to. I think I know what this place is.
Really?
Yes.
Well, that sounds like a lot of fun.
Do you know what this means?
No, please tell me a great one.
It means he thinks about you all the time.
Oh my God, are you serious? You know, all I thought he thought about were tires.
Les, I can tell you, Les is coming into me really loud and clear now, thanks to you. I need to ask you another personal question, though.
Please, by all means, go ahead.
Do you remember what the weather was like the first day you met Les?
I do, as a matter of fact. It was very, very cloudy, and it was hailing, and they were huge hail balls the size of golf balls. It was just amazing.
Do you realize that is a sign?
You know, I often thought that.
I can tell you what this sign is. Do you mind if I tell you over live TV?
Well, I hope it's not too personal.
It means that you and Les are going to have many quarrels in the future. I'm afraid
Quarrels?
you should stay away from him.
What are you talking about, Fadad?
I
What do you
think
mean quarrels?
you need to stay away from Les. I'm warning you.
Why should I stay away from Les? Just because he's an alcoholic doesn't mean we can't have a good time together.
Listen. I want to keep tabs. I want you to call me back.
Okay,
I want you to call me back. I want you to keep in touch. I think we should meet on a regular basis. I think you really need me.
You really do?
I think Vi,
Much is this going to cost
you
me?
wouldn't believe what is coming, the signals that are coming through right now.
I'll tell you the signals that are coming through here. They're dollar signs. How much are you going to charge me for this, Fadad?
Oh, well, now, I'm a reasonable psychic.
You know, they don't pay me a lot over at KECI, you know. They haven't paid me. In fact, I haven't gotten a raise since 64.
And I guess you got quite a big closet and quite a wardrobe, though.
Well, I do get some perks, this is true, but I assume that you have a sliding scale.
I'll tell you what. How about we'll just do a trade? I get to go through your closet, and we'll just go from there.
Sounds like a deal.
Sounds like a wonderful thing.
I'm willing to work this out. Listen, it was lovely talking to you. Thank you for the advice, although I must tell you I'm a bit distraught about your news about me and Les. I don't think I should stay away from him. I really enjoy his company.
It is as clear as day, that sign on the day you met him. I'm afraid that you must take these things seriously.
I thought that was a sexual sign. I thought that meant that there was love in the air. At least there were heavy golf balls in the air.
Not if the wind was blowing.
Well, the wind was blowing, but I think it was less.
Well, let's be sure about these things.
Maybe, you know, we should do have Les call you. Wait, hold on for a second. Here he is right now. He just came in there. Hold on. He's right here. I'm going to put him on, all right?
Wonderful. Ladies and gentlemen, Les Schwab is on the air.
It's a new value. At no extra charge. Is this the Grateful Dog?
Les, I know what you look like. I've seen your picture. I've seen your picture all over the place. I know who you are.
Yeah, I know who you are, Fadad. And if you don't watch your ass, I'm going to break it.
Oh, Les.
Now, you listen to me, young man. I don't know who the hell you think you are, but you're going to stay away from me and my little Vi, or else we're going to pull off that wig and point you out to be the transvestite sexual that you are. You understand what I'm talking about?
Les, you don't know what you're talking
No, I
about.
know what I'm talking about, son. You are a sham. You are a sham. You shouldn't even be on TV Dial Psychic. What kind of degree do you have, anyway? You ever bought tires for me, son?
Les,
I see you at one of my stores. I'm going to wrap one of them steel belted radios around your head.
Les, what does it mean if you have two blowouts at once? Do you know what this means?
Yeah, it means you bought your tires in Big O is what it means.
No, it doesn't. That's not what it means, Les. There's a sign. If there's something significant and profound, you want me to tell you? I'm not going to tell you.
Go ahead, tell me, son. Tell me what it means if you're so smart.
It means you're going to be reincarnated as two people at once.
What the hell are you talking about now?
You probably don't care about what I'm talking
I
about, but
care about what you're talking about. You just explained yourself, son. Have you ever shopped at my store?
just read your advertising is a lot. That's about it.
Well, I want to tell you something. I didn't get to be the tire king of all of Montana and Northern America just by sitting around predicting. I went out there to work. Do you understand what I'm saying to you, son? Now, you might be able to predict the future, but I
Les,
can sell you a good steel-belted radio. You understand what I'm saying?
Les, I need to ask you something. Please, let me just ask you one question.
All right, go ahead.
What did you have for breakfast this morning?
I have what I have every morning. I start the day off with a bowl of Quaker Oats. It's good, and it's good for me. I have a strong cup of black coffee. Then I usually have some kind of a dead animal, whether that be a pig or a cow. And I also have some eggs, maybe 3 or 4 eggs, and hash browns. I like hash browns with that. And I have some fresh fruit. And then I follow that all up with a Pepto.
Are you sure there was nothing unusual about your breakfast this morning?
No, it's the same thing I have every morning. My wife, well, I should say, well, anyway, a woman that I know fixed my breakfast for me every morning the same way for the last 28 years. Now, what are you going to say about that?
I'm just trying to see what I can see, what I can see, what I can see.
What can you see anyway? You can't see the cameraman in front of you. Hell, it took you 25 minutes just to fix the damn phone.
Did you drop your spoon this morning? That's it, you dropped your spoon, didn't you?
How did you know that? What the hell? Were you in my... What the...
Do you know what that means?
Vi, come over. Vi, get over here. Who the hell is this boy? How do you know I dropped my spoon?
Drop your spoon, business will fall. That's the
Did you
saying.
say, son? What did you just say? Our business has been better, never been better.
Drop
Vi,
the
get over
spoon,
here.
business will fall. That is what, that is a fact, Les. I'm afraid your business, I don't care how hard you've worked all your life,
Fadad, this is
I
Vi.
see a very
You've
gloomy,
really upset him. You are really upsetting Les. Now, please stop it.
I think I might as well just hang up because I'm getting a little upset myself here. I want to be taken seriously here. And I don't think Les was really listening to me.
I think he was listening to you. I just think you upset him. I mean, I think that you should try to give people some positive vibes when you can. It
All
should be a
right.
lot of fun.
Well, I try and do that. But I must have the courage. My great-great-great-grandfather always told me that you, no matter what comes in as far as signals or messages, they must, no matter how gloomy or terrible, he said, never back down from telling them the truth. It may risk them, I may never talk to you again.
Sometimes a little white lie goes a long way. Sometimes what they don't know won't hurt them. Now, I think that you should apologize to Les. I'm going to put him back on the phone right now.
Les?
I ain't going to talk to that son of a gun. I don't know who the hell he thinks he is. He ain't going to talk to me that way. Now, Les, you just be quiet and you listen to what this man has to say. He's very wise for his age. And don't make fun of the way he's dressed. It's a skin condition. Now, go ahead. All right, what do you got to say, son?
We're all gonna die someday, Les.
Yeah. And some a little bit sooner than others. What's your point?
My point is that I'm sorry if I upset you.
You definitely did upset me. What do you mean to tell me that my business is going to go in the toilet? What kind of statement is that? Is that a kind of thing to tell a man who works his whole life for just his family?
You're the one who walked in and picked up the phone and talked to me. I didn't, none of this was planned, believe me.
Yeah.
I mean,
Do you have any good news for me, son?
I must, well, if you can,
Do you have any good news for me? That's what I want to know.
oh, okay. Well, I must know something about you. I must just know one thing that happened. Have you bought a new car recently?
You know, I have not bought a new car, but I'm going to get back into my own little world here. I want to thank you for this call, and I don't think I'm going to be calling you anytime soon. Now, you have a good day. I'm going to allow some of these good people of Missoula to start calling because I know that your line must be backed up. So you talk to them. I hope you have some good news to give them. I'll talk to you later.
I have a lot of good news. I have a lot of good news. Thank you. Well, I have a lot of good news. People don't realize, shouldn't jump to conclusions here. I think we have another caller. Hello? Okay. All right. Well, I have a lot of good news here. I think we have another caller on the line. Thanks for calling Dial a Psychic. My name is The Great Facade, and we have a caller, I think, on line 2. Is it line 2? Hello?
Hi,
Hello, who's this?
Doug.
Well, Doug,
Yeah, Doug.
do you know who you're talking to?
No, I don't.
Well, you're talking to The Great Facade.
Okay.
I would like to help you out if you have any questions about your future, past, present, or any other anxieties.
Okay.
Shoot, Doug.
Okay, I'd like to know if my job employment will get any better as my income.
Wow, this seems to be a hot question tonight. I see you will join a Hutterite colony, and you will live happily the rest of your life, Doug. This is true. This, I think, is true.
Okay.
Let's see. I see you will inherit a chicken farm in Harlowton, Montana.
In Harlington, Montana?
Harlowton.
Okay.
And I suspect these are related events.
Okay.
I think you're a lucky man, Doug. Cheer up.
I hope I'm lucky.
I'd say so.
I just got one more question for you.
Sure.
Okay, I'm 28 years old. I want to know, when will I be married?
You're 28.
Right.
When will you be married? Let's see. The only way, let's see, how you can find out when you will be married by what you do is under the next full moon, go out under the full moon and take a walk and at some point hold your breath.
Okay.
And count the number of steps you can take until you run out of breath.
Okay.
Just take normal steps. Don't take little baby steps. Take normal steps and count them, and when you run out of breath, the number of steps that you've taken will be the number of months until you marry.
Okay. Okay, well, I'm going to try that.
Okay.
Okay, when I do that, I want to call you back after full moon comes. I want to let you know.
Well, I really would want to know.
Okay, thank you.
I'm interested in everyone I talk to. I'm interested. So a lot of people. It turns out we have a lifelong relationship. I think. Well, anyway, thank you very much for calling, Doug. I hope to talk to you in the future.
Okay, thank you.
Lucky young man. Chicken farm in Harlowton, Montana. We always are eating chickens. I suppose that is a bright future. I hope we can get some other calls. If we can't, I just may have to make some phone calls. Oh, we may have got a phone call here. My gosh, they're really coming in now. Dial a Psychic. Okay, I guess we got another caller. I'm waiting, though. I have to wait for the right signals before I answer the phone. I have to listen to it beep for a little bit. Okay, I think I can go on line 2. Hello? 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 Well, hello? Well, I think the FCC is interfering again. I'm not sure. They are always hassling me. They don't think it's right what I'm doing, using the airwaves, using using telecommunications in the United States to try and help people with their future, their past, and the present, free of charge. For some reason, they think I shouldn't be doing this. You don't know how many people I have helped and change their lives, help probably save a lot of people from running right off the edge of a cliff. Well, we may have a caller again. Another caller. Maybe not. All right. Hello?
Hello.
Thank you for calling The Great Facade.
The Great Facade. I've been waiting for you.
Well, I think I've been waiting for you. It's probably true.
Here's my question. I'm in love with everybody. Everybody. What should I do? I don't know how to handle it.
Okay. I can tell you.
Need more information?
Yeah, I may have to ask a question here.
Please.
Have you seen a rainbow recently?
Yes, I saw a rainbow shooting straight down. It was in the west. It was on the way to work. It was a beautiful rainbow, and it made me feel good about going to work. I'm in love with everybody.
That's exactly what I need to know. That's exactly what I need to know. And you think this is how do you feel about this?
I feel great about it, but it scares me because if I don't love anybody more than anybody else, why should I be in one relationship over another?
Well, this heart you believe yours for so long, you can't just leave it, even with your friends. Your lovers have left you and gone near you, and keep safe what you kept for so many years. Let me go on. Once, sunlight in a filthy street, his absence ringing in my ears, nothing to show for a lifetime's love but his broken bowl, these tears. These are just messages coming through. Just a second.
I'm hearing you.
I think you're a very lucky man, actually. It means that you will never be elected as a public official. I hope you understand that.
Well, I've kind of wanted to be president and save the world and make everybody happier.
I wish you could. But the way things are going, the way the old ball bounces right now, I can see that you should not to try and run for public office with the predicament that you're in.
Predicament? I see.
It could be
on the head, I believe it's scary, but it's true.
And I can tell you, this is now coming in. You will go on a journey on a sleeper train.
Sleeper train?
Yes.
Where will I go?
I don't know. I don't see where you're going.
Alice?
But anyway, you're a lucky man. You're a lucky man. Just don't worry about running for office.
Should I go to Dallas, Texas?
No. There you will be very unhappy.
Okay.
I can see this.
Wow.
You are a seer too, I see.
I don't know that I am, but I'm very happy to have spoken with you.
It's been a psychic pleasure, indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think we may have another caller.
I'll hang up now. I love you.
Adios, amigos.
Adios.
Do we have another caller? No? We don't have another caller. Okay, well, I'm going to try and call, who could I call? I'll call Joe, 728. I think Joe needs his fortune told. Well, Joe wasn't home. I think we have a caller on line 1. Hello?
Hello?
Hello, thank you for calling The Great Facade. What do you want? What can I tell you about your past, present, or future?
I was wondering if I'll do good in school in the future.
Well, I'm okay. I'm going to need some more information about you. Let's see. Do you have any freckles on your face?
No?
Okay. Do you have green eyes?
No?
Okay, could you tell me what color your eyes are, please?
Hazel?
Hazel. I see. Do you wear glasses?
No?
Okay, well that means that you're probably not going to do too well in school. At least this next year, but you know, that's all right. Did you go to a public school, do you?
Yes.
Yeah, don't worry about it then. Don't worry about it.
Do you know when, I'll graduate? What year?
I see you will. My gosh, you will graduate as a sophomore. You will graduate by your sophomore year in high school. Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, you will graduate by your sophomore year.
Okay, do you know when will I get my license?
I see you will get your license and you will go on a journey to Kansas when you get your license.
At what age?
You will meet a girl there named Dorothy. Now, isn't that something? You're going to meet Dorothy in Kansas when you get your driver's license your sophomore year in high school. How old will you be? You tell me.
About 16?
You will be 16 years old when you do this.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you would like to know?
Do you know if I'll make lots of money?
I see. You will receive a letter to appear on Jeopardy. And you will win. You will win.
How much money?
You will win $17,500 on Jeopardy.
Okay, thank you.
You are a lucky man. Thank you for calling.
Yep.
I'm so glad to be able to reach out and help those people out there who have no idea what their future is bringing them. I know. Give me a call. It's free. Give me a call. We may have a call right now. It's absolutely free. If you wonder what your future holds, what your past meant, what your day meant, what it meant today that you saw a bird hit your window. I know these things. Line 2. Hello, you're on the air with The Great Facade.
Yeah? I have a question. I was wondering if I'm gonna marry the guy that I'm dating right now.
Okay. Let's see. Just a second here. I can help you. I need to ask you something.
Yeah?
Do you remember what the weather was like when you met him?
It was a lot of stars out and it was clear. It wasn't cloudy or anything. It was a clear night.
Okay. What you need to do, how many stars did you see?
How many are ever in the sky?
I thought you said 5. Well, and you're wondering if you're going, what was your question again? You're wondering what the future of your relationship is going to be?
I was wondering if I'm gonna marry the guy that I'm seeing right now.
Okay. I would say that if the man is younger than you, you will have good luck raising sheep. That's all I can tell you. I'm not kidding. It's not coming in clear. All I can tell you is if he's younger than you, you will have a lot of good luck raising sheep.
He's not older than me. He's not younger than me. We're the same age.
Okay. I can then tell you that that if you're the same age, what you must listen here. If there's a full moon out and there's a line from the moon. Do you know what a line from the moon is? It's like if you look at a lake and the moon is up above the lake and you can see a moon beam across the top of the lake
Yeah.
coming towards you.
Yeah.
Don't ever cross that with your boyfriend, holding hands.
Why?
It'll mean that's it. That's it between you two. It's a bad future. It means that first of all, you won't marry. Second of all, you probably won't cruise the drag ever again. Do you cruise the drag?
Yeah.
The Higgins Avenue?
Yeah.
Do you remember the last time you cruised the drag? How many times did you circle the end of the street?
I don't know, once or twice.
Once or twice. Can you be specific?
Once.
Okay. Well, this is good. If you just circled it once, it means that at least you will be together for one more month. These are things I know. Thank you for calling. Unless you have any other questions.
No. Thank you.
Sure.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, I'm so glad to, again, be able to reach out through these airwaves, through these telephone lines, through these mysterious electronic, cosmic, psychogenic things I know about, things that I commune with and tap into. We're all capable of these powers. We have another caller on line 1. Thank you for calling The Great Facade. Do you have any questions about your past, present, or future?
Yes.
May I go ahead and I'd like to help you if I may. What would you like to know?
Okay, I was wondering if I was going to get in a car wreck in a couple next months.
That is a very, I could tell you, I need to know something though. I need to know if you, what kind of a pet, do you have any pets?
No, I don't have any pets.
What was the last pet that you had?
A cat. And his name was Swarte.
What happened to the cat? Was it a natural death or a tragic death?
It ran away. It ran away from home.
Okay, well that means that you are not going to die in a car wreck.
I know, am I going to get in one?
Oh my gosh, you are. But you're not going to die.
Will there be a girl or a boy driving when I get in this wreck? Or will I be driving?
It's going to be a taxi driver.
A
I
taxi
see a taxi driver. Well, there you have it. Just stay out of taxis. Just don't get in a taxi.
Is my friend going to be with me? Or my boyfriend or somebody if I have one?
At least. At least he will be. I see many people in the taxi.
You see many people?
I see the taxi driver telling you that there's too many people in the taxi right before the wreck. Stay out of a taxi. At least in the next month.
Am I ever going to get married?
I tell you what, how do you feel about marriage?
It's fine with me.
Well,
As long as the person doesn't, like, beat me or anything.
yeah, that's, you sound like a reasonable woman. Well, let me tell you, if you count 9 stars every night for 9 nights, and you put a mirror under your pillow on the last night, you will dream of your future husband. Now, do you want me to repeat that?
No, okay, I count the stars. I count 9 stars in the sky for 9 nights, right?
Correct, right,
And then I stick a mirror underneath my pillow
right,
on the last night.
right.
And then I'll dream about my future husband or whatever.
This is true. That's true. And these are things that I know that can help any of you out there. If you give me a call, 542-6228. And thank you very much for calling.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, man, do I feel good about this. I hope the FCC is watching tonight to see how honest and sincere I am trying to help my fellow Americans, my fellow Missoulians. in their past, present, or future, or any other anxieties. I can interpret dreams too, folks. If you have any dreams you're questioned about, I know. We have a caller on line 1. Hello. Thanks for calling Dallas Psychic.
Hi, I have a question. I have freckles and green eyes, and so I was wondering how I would do this year in school.
Well, I'm sorry. I don't see. I see. This is really confusing. I'm having strange signals come in right now, telling me that school is just not going to happen for you, honey. I swear, I'm honest. I'm being perfectly serious with you. That I see, school is just not going to happen. Now listen, don't take it too seriously. Don't take it too seriously, but I am serious. Wait. Oh, I see though that you will, as soon as the new year commences, next year, you will be overtaken by a long bout of hiccups. Well.
Really?
This I know. These signals are strange, but they're always, everything that I have ever predicted has come true. So no matter how strange or bizarre these things that I tell you may seem to be, believe me, I take them seriously if you want to know what's good for you.
Okay, I have another question.
Please.
Do you see any more of Rumi's romantic readings in my future?
Okay, well, I'm going to pull out these cards here. I have these are ancient cards. These are 300 years old. They're from Ireland. They're from my great-great-great-great-grandmother. Now,
Please.
okay, I'm going to have you pick a card, and don't you worry. It'll magically pop out of the deck. There it comes now. There's seems to be one. Oh, look at the move. They're just I'll just take this. Okay. I see. Now, what was your question?
I want to know if there are going to be any more of Rumi's romantic readings in my future.
Yes, I see you. You will go into the woman's room, and someone in the stall next to you will be reciting poetry, Rumi poetry. You are a fortunate lady. That doesn't happen to many people.
Will it be a man or a woman?
I hear the voice of an angel reading the poetry. That's half male, half female. Interesting. I tell you, I can't believe the things that come through to me, the signals. But again, everything that I have ever predicted is true. You will see. And
well, is there anything else that you see in my future?
I think so. First, I must ask, what do you eat your salad, your greens dinner salad with your main course or before?
Before.
Okay. Do you use the same fork that you've ate your salad with your main course, or do you like to use a different fork?
If there's a different fork available, I use a different fork, but usually I use chopsticks.
Oh, okay. Things are coming in really clear now. I see that your fear, any fear you have, will turn into confidence, and then back to fear, and then to paranoia.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. It's amazing. It's amazing that the things that we don't know.
Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Well, we're moving right along here. I hope I'm being able to help a lot of people tonight, and I can help you. It's absolutely free. We will not use your name over the air. So please give the great Fadad a call. And I think we got another caller. Hello, you've reached the great Facade, psychic, healer, fortune teller. Is there something you'd like to know?
Yeah. I'm wondering about my high school year. I'll be a freshman in high school, and I'm wondering if anything is going to happen to me, like I'm going to get in any fights or anything.
Okay, that is something I can surely answer. Have you been on any trips recently?
No.
Okay. Have you ever had recently some bird droppings fall on your head?
No.
Okay. Have you recently seen a whirlwind, a small one, even a small one, a whirlwind?
No.
Let's see. Well, have you seen any worms on the street recently?
Huh?
Worms on the street. Have you seen any worms on the street?
No.
Oh, man. Well, this is hard sometimes. I'm trying to figure out. Let's see. Sometimes if I hold my head, I can see that within the next 18 months, you will be working at Super America.
That's good.
But I can also see that. Oh my gosh! You will fail to respond to a chain letter, and lose $18,000. Ooh, here's something. Listen, next time you eat takeout food, look closely at the food, and you will see the face of Judas Iscariot in the food. These are things I know. These are things you should know.
Who is that person that you just said, though? I don't know who that is.
You will see him when the time comes. Judas Iscariot. He's the one who betrayed Jesus, honey.
Oh, okay.
Well, thank you for calling.
Yeah, thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Well, looks like our time is up. It's time to end this first edition of Dial a Psychic. I'm the Great Facade, and it's been a great evening. There's another person calling, but I'm afraid I'm not going to answer the phone. So next, tune in again and join me and my friends, and let me discuss your future. I do not discuss business. I did tonight with Les Schwab. I don't want to do that. I don't want to ever discuss business again. I'd rather discuss love, hate, travel, faith, mystery, but I don't want to talk business. So long. Thank you again for calling.